Yes, 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 yes.
So, Gus, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of start with the introduction, and then to give people a few minutes to join because it does start at 10 o'clock. So we'll give people a few more minutes to jump on that are
Okay.
coming. Um, but I will go ahead and start with kind of the introduction of today. So we actually have three companies presenting today. We're going to have a NuWave going first, and that's Gustavo Cavazos. And then we have TCM presenting second, and that's going to be Andy Vasey. And then third, we're going to have Gravic, and that's going to be Peyton Holstein. Now, after each session, we will take questions, and then once the questions are done, we'll move into the next company. So feel free at the end of each session to ask any questions that may have been brought up during each of the presentations, and we'll be happy to answer them. There is a button to raise your hand. If you do have a question, you can use that button. It's at the top of the screen. So let's see, Gus. Looks like we got a couple more people. So why don't we give it one more minute and then we can get started.
We are sharing the presentations, aren't we, in some form or another, if I recall? I know the session's being recorded.
Yes, and we can share the presentations at the end. There'll be a link to watch them.
Excellent, excellent. I need to submit them then. I haven't submitted my deck yet.
Thank you for bringing that up. Good point. Okay, Gus, go ahead and get started. Looks like we still have a few people trickling in. I can see the number going up, but you can go ahead and
okay.
Let me start with your first slide there.
Do this. Okay, so our title presentation. So wait a couple of minutes. So NuWave, unlocking new capabilities, authentication, exit, and Kafka. On this presentation, if I want something for you guys to remember is that we are having these two new features added to our products, authentication exits and Kafka integration on the HPE NonStop lightweight products. Okay. So about NuWave, NuWave has been in business since 1991. We are considered the leaders of the NonStop middleware and web services integration. Our products have enabled organizations to expand NonStop connectivity to more businesses and internally and externally within the companies for around 25 years. Our products go all the way from middleware options such as SOAP, going to REST and other things, as working as a server and client, and providing other features such as API gateway and utilities for file transfers. We continue to deliver innovative, easy-to-use NonStop solutions to exchange information using current communications technologies for the NonStop. A little bit of background. My name is Gustavo Cavazos. I started working with HPE NonStop at the Mexican Stock Exchange in the 1990s, 1993 onwards. I work at very interesting places all over these years, such as telecom, C991, call routing, fleet fueling systems, various banking, POS, ATMs, all those things. Also EDI, message processing for a large van, And along the way, I met very interesting people, and now I'm working at NuWave, helping them with the sales engineering side of things. Integration, and just to recap always, what makes HP NonStop availability superior? We have a lot of things here that we can showcase. But when we talk about integration in our context, integrating operational functions of mission critical systems running on the NonStop cloud is of importance. And I have always been a fan of this platform stack. And again, as mentioned, also our two topics, our two new features. I want to take over some slides into showing our new demo platform that we are overhauling, and we will show briefly here. So, and we will make that demo platform available so users can request a password and you can go take in a look and peek around. Where is Lightwave within the NonStop? Lightwave as a middleware is situated alongside several other utilities running on the NonStop, alongside Java, web server, middleware toolkits. But we are sitting in a different place. We are running on top of Guardian, which is running natively on the NonStop. And this provides, and this assures the most optimized code support for your online transaction processing business. Products, all other products are running on their OSS. We're running directly on Guardian, and customers appreciate that fact. Now on with the integration showcase. So we have a demo platform that we use sometimes on the demos, and we're trying to make it available and keep it updated, in which we show how a simple web application integrates with our products running on the NonStop, and how these web applications using standard REST API communication technologies and procedures call functions, call transactions running on the NonStop and make them available within internally or externally within your company's business. And this makes Lightwave products. This way makes easy access to any application running on a NonStop platform. In this case, our payment platform or our demo platform is a payment mockup in which we manage cards, simulate a transaction, and we have integration with several REST endpoints that go outside the NonStop and to send SMS, emails, and this new a new version of it is supporting Kafka integration, in which we act as a producer for Kafka, and we send events to Kafka logs. We can demo it in a few minutes. Now, this demo showcase is fairly simple. That integration demo platform is shown here. And this simulates the classic NonStop, quote, NonStop cloud application. So on the left side of the presentation, you have your the web app, which is hosted on Amazon Web Services standard, or you can be hosting on any platform. And this web app triggers REST calls that are attended and serviced by a Lightwave server product. And towards that Lightwave server product, we talk to a simple pathway C program database, and we simulate this account, card, and payment transactions. At the same time, the demo, the payment server transaction calls several events that use Lightwave client on the NonStop to perform REST API calls to external API providers. In our case, SMS, email, and talking to a Kafka cluster, but other customers are using it for numerous other things, such as sending online transactions to fraud detection systems, sending online advices to external parties using REST. In this case, let me quickly go to my Acme product, which is here. This is just a sample Acme product, which is a web page hosted in web. And this just lets you, of course, you have several buttons you can play here. Accounts, you can go to an account, and this clicking the button makes a REST API call that goes and handles to LiveWave server and presents back with a JSON message that the web page simply displays here in a table. And we can go all the way down. And for our demo in this case, you have to set up the email, for example, and the phone number to get those API events triggered. And all this in the demo, you can go and take a look at the request log, and you get shown the actual transactions that are being sent to the NonStop and what is sending back. This is the type of a demo that you, per request, are going to be able to go and take a look, and also the configurations on the LiveWave client and LiveWave server. And in this case, you can go make a transaction to a company using my card number, and if I perform it, this will trigger the events, and I'll get an email and a text message sent to my phone, and you can see that. What else? And on the other side, we're going to show a little bit of what LiveWave client and LiveWave server are. We can go and present. Oops, sorry. If you have any questions, please raise your hands. Vince will let me know. So LiveWave client, LiveWave server, our software runs on the NonStop. This web console is service on the NonStop, and you can see we have several options on the left, but all of them facilitate the definition and the integration of APIs that can be used throughout the NonStop system. In this case, there's 3 SCIs. One is the email, the SMS, and you can go and you can quickly see how things are defined within the environment. You can see all the methods that you can use for the REST, and at the same time, define how things are going to be handled by the message transaction, by the inter-process message communications, and how things are going to be formatted on the path components and the REST, and how everything is going to be interpreted from the HTTP form field, and in the end, either make a REST external call and send that response back to NonStop, or for LiveWave server, which is the opposite. I just got the message from the SMS. LiveWave server again provides, in this case, the integration platform, dictionary, and APIs that get handled by the web interface, such as simulating a payment or getting the accounts and displaying all the configuration options that you can have. And this is all very simple to do and useful. And on the upcoming tugs, we're going to be having the demo working and showing to everybody that want to go and have a little bit closer interaction with the software. So anyway, the integration flexibility is needed to be able to tackle our current business requirements. And for this, LiveWave has heard to our customers the demands that they're having, and these 2 new updates that we're having for our products is LiveWave authentication exits, and this means that we are adding exit that can be triggered upon authentication. When the LiveWave server receives a transaction, we are going to be able to verify tokens, credential tokens. This verification process is going to be uploaded to the client, and the tokens are going to be verified, and we're going to be able to let or not go the transactions through. This, of course, provides flexibility with all the companies and allows them to provide better services and streamline authentication efforts within the business lines or the business requirements. More and more customers or requesters of secure transactions are demanding access to NonStop-based applications, especially with fintechs coming out and normal financial institutions having to share more data with fintechs. And in this case, Lightwave service exits, again, this is a very dry product to demo. It's not something showy and flashy, so we've been struggling to see how we can demo this in the platform. Nobody likes to be talking to encryption algorithms and how things are calculated. But we're gonna have the flexibility to configure these items, what type of provider is gonna be performing authentications, retry intervals, paddings, technical things that are gonna be customizable on Lightwave server, and will provide that flexibility for business. A little bit technical on the side. In the case of Lightwave authentication exits, we quickly have a REST client performing a REST call. That REST call is going to have a token that the client is using to authenticate, and Lightwave server is going to take that token, authenticate it externally or internally. You can either authenticate it via the NonStop security provided functions, or you can authenticate it externally through other systems. And this flexibility, for example, a lot of people are using JSON web tokens and bear tokens. We had a European customer asking for this functionality, and we know that they are integrating it with Kerberos, for example, as another key provider or key security management infrastructure, Kerberos. But we'll be following the same type. Lightwave server verifies the token, caches it, and then allows transactions to flow in and not. And our other update, Kafka, Lightwave client can integrate to Kafka as a producer. And in our demo case, our payment, we have our Kafka running instance, and our Gravic payment demo page, I think, got updated here. Here is the transaction that I sent to the NonStop, my payment, and got forwarded to Kafka. And of course, everybody else using Kafka can now do whatever they want with that information. And a lot of customers are using Kafka externally, so they are requesting, hey, I need to send data from our application system, our mission critical systems, be that payments, fraud, anything, balances for online analytical processes, and are requesting some quick integration with Kafka. And this is the first. We have producer and consumer, and depending on the volume, we're gonna be able to better streamline it and integrate it with Kafka. So in the end, those are our two updates that we're going to be trending this year. Authorization exits for Lightwave products, and we're going to be expanding those exits also, and our Kafka integration. I wanted to look at some ATI trends from the web. How good am I on time? Still have some 1 minute. Updates from the web. I don't know. Searching the web, you can see a lot of webish trends. Some of this will impact NonStop probably, as NonStop being the source of information for a lot of companies that run mission critical systems. Some of all this API trends are up to debates. I do know that the growth of artificial intelligence and machine learning will impact some of us as data producers, and sometimes will be providing data to large language models and this new agents that are coming on board. But yeah, some of these are above debate. Some of this will impact, and you will be hearing from them. I don't know how many of you have heard of this trends coming through the architects and things like that. Another thing I want to showcase. Oops, yeah. Professional services. NuWave is also offering professional services. If you have projects that you want to take care on the NonStop and you want architecture planning, systems assessment models for, I don't know, integration system, information system planning that your pointy hair boss are looking at, we can do custom development, and we are here to hear your NonStop pains and how to help you with your NonStop features and products. So any questions? Quickly before showing back to handling over to Vince and to who's next, Vince?
So thank you, Gus, by the way. If you guys do have any questions and you can't think of them now or they come up later, we do have on our page there, the sales@nuwavetech.com. Great place to send your questions, and we would be happy to answer them. Gus, did you have anything else?
No, remember just to have we have our documentation manuals online. Everything's up there. Go take a look. Have any questions? Send the information. We are always 24/7 here. And this.
Yep. And you guys can also play around with the demo that Gus showed today, and see the responses that you get. It actually shows you on there as well. So thank you guys. Thanks everyone. Now next we have TCM. It's going to be Andy Vasey.
Hi everybody.
So we'll pass it over to Andy. Thanks, Andy.
Thank you very much. I'll just share my slides. Okay. Why I don't see why this isn't. There we go. Okay. Hopefully everyone can see that. Okay, welcome to my 20 minutes. There is a number of slides here. You will find that I will race through some of them. Others I'll slow down, only because I would think they're more important to the viewers. So today, I'd like to think that everybody...
I'm not seeing any slides.
You're not seeing any slides?
Me neither.
No. It says it's sharing. Okay, let me unshare and then share again. Share. Can people see that?
There it is.
Yes,
there we go.
We can see now.
Oh, weird that didn't show up. Apologies. Okay, so TCM, quick introduction to TCM. I'd like to think that everybody actually has heard of us. I've got to be realistic. There are one or two out there who haven't. So for those of you who haven't, we'll just cover that off. And then I want to talk to you about Insight, a product from TCM, and application modernization. That's if we get time to do application modernization. So TCM basically formed out of two questions. Can you help, and what else? So a little bit of history here. So I want to take you back to 1996, Stirling in Scotland. As you probably heard, we are a Scottish company. So Tandem Computers at the time were investigating the idea of a managed service. There was definitely interest from their customers. Actually, the team in Scotland was headed up by a young NonStop engineer, Tony Craig. Now, unfortunately, Tandem redeployed the staff, which actually left the void. Tony was still living in Scotland. He wasn't sure what to do with himself, and the customers still needed support. So it led to the question to Tony, can you help? Now, obviously, Tony being Tony, yes, absolutely, we can help. Now, Tony is since retired a couple of years ago and is replaced by Daniel Craig, his son. So Daniel now heads up the company. So I've got to be nice just in case he's listening, obviously. Now, in the early years, obviously, it's a managed service we were providing specifically to one customer that expanded, but we focused on proximity. We wanted a seamless delivery. Effectively, we wanted to be felt like another part of the team. So highly responsive, always available, quick to adapt. And we wanted to combine the NonStop expertise that we had with exemplary service management. Now, as things have changed over the years, the company's got bigger. We now have more of a global footprint. So if you look at the offerings today, I don't have time to go through all of them, but we cover off all service aspects of your NonStop system. Obviously, primarily system management, but we've done a lot of work around application modernization this past year. We're experts in virtual NonStop, monitoring, data replication, and we're also being called on a number of occasions for performance analysis. That seems to be quite popular at the moment. I don't know why. We have a dedicated NonStop service experts across the field. So they're all experts in one field or another, but we combine them all, and there's nothing that really we can't do. But what we are very good at is delivering a bespoke service. Customers never want the same thing, and we are quick to adapt to whatever a customer requires from us. Now, service delivery is typically delivered from our Service of Excellence, which is based in Scotland. That's not to say that everyone's got a Scottish accent and you can't understand them. Some of them are actually Irish with an Irish accent. We've never lost a customer, never failed an SLA. Flexible, responsive, adaptable. Adaptable is really, really important. And as I say, we see ourselves as a trusted partner, sort of a part of the team. And obviously, we're at a HPE Silver Partner. Oh, preserving NonStop knowledge. Yeah. So that's the introduction. So let's talk about TCM Insight. Now, this was a program that was developed probably about 3 years ago now. And there was a need from HPE, and there was a need from some customers at the time that they just wanted a quick idea, a quick snapshot assessment that was could tell them what was happening with their NonStop system. So they didn't want to spend a lot of time, and they certainly didn't want to spend a lot of money, but they just wanted to understand what their systems were doing and whether they were using to best practice. So in essence, it's a short, comprehensive audit. It lasts only a few days. Minimal input from the customer. And when I say minimal, I really mean that. We send out a script to a customer. They hit the execute button. They generate some logs, and the logs come back to TCM. And we analyze the logs and report back. As I say, we worked very, very closely with HPE, designed, built, and delivered in collaboration with HPE. And again, if the sales teams globally are well aware of Insight from TCM, so if there is any interest, please come back to either myself at TCM, or indeed you can contact your local HPE representative. But the aim really is to analyze a customer's NonStop at a specific time. We provide actionable insight and feedback. Basically, the idea is that we improve your NonStop. Now, what we wanted to do was deliver a report that was easily readable. Certainly, I've been in the business for 37 years, and I've read some reports I used to be technical. I'm not technical anymore. I want something that I can look at and get a rough idea of, yeah, is everything good? Is everything bad? What's going on? So we developed this traffic light system. We're working on green, amber, and red, just to highlight the areas that we look at. So what we come up with, all areas that are red, report on the reds, could be CLIMS. This is just an example that we pulled up. Could be absolutely anything. But we also will look at the oranges as well, the ambers. And what does that actually mean? So we got recommended actions, good. Everything's good. It means that customers can crack on and everyone is happy. Now, sometimes it'll be an amber. We may come back and say there may be a recommended to change a process, a configuration, a setting, whatever it may be. And obviously with the reds, sometimes we may suggest a new product or a tool or a service. And whatever we do, we're not actually suggesting that we go back and do the work. Absolutely not. We've done this. We've run this hundreds of times now. And some customers are more than happy with the analysis that we provide, and they'll go away and they'll make the modifications themselves. Now, obviously, when you're looking at some of the reds, we may have to dive deeper into that analysis. That becomes then effectively a separate project, but it does happen. So the insight tool is run, the output is analyzed, and it's analyzed by a team of people. It's not just one individual. We have the whole team will look at an insight report. The report is submitted, and then came the next part. And certainly for me, it's as important as the technical side. So effectively, insight is split into two. So we have your technical aspect, and we also have the dialogue aspect. So when we come to do the report, we'll run through all the technical challenges potentially. But when we talk about when we come into the dialogue section, we look to try and understand the environment. What caused the system manager frustration? Why is that? We understand the process. We look at succession planning and any improvements that we could have, which sometimes we would recommend that they're essential, and in other cases, they're nice to haves. Now, what are the benefits? Benefits, first one is this is very inexpensive to run. It's an efficient use of time. There's no overheads to staff. But despite the efficiency, it's still very comprehensive. Independent objective analysis. And one thing that was mentioned when we first started to do this was, is this a witch hunt? Absolutely not. And I'll come on to the reasons why in a minute, but it is not a witch hunt. And more importantly, it doesn't require NonStop knowledge to understand the report. Minimally invasive, as I say, it runs on the touch of a button. And customers now are finding that they want to do this annually. So they'll come to us every year, we'll pop in and run the program. And of course, it's tailored and scalable. So who would get insight? Now, your system manager, absolutely. Personal development, it could be continuous improvement, confirmation of competence. But we are seeing a large number of system managers coming to us because in effect, they want a justification to recommend a system improvement, whether that's a system improvement, whether that's additional training, whatever it may be. Use our report as a justification for that. And of course, don't forget system management. The senior management are looking for an independent appraisal. And we've had this a few times where you've got a senior manager has come in and has taken over the responsibility for NonStop, and they have no idea how to spell NonStop, never mind anything else. So they call us in, and it gives them sort of a reassurance of where they are and where they would like to get to with their NonStop systems. So I say I'm a little bit rushed. I've still got 5 minutes according to my clock. So enough time to talk about application modernization. And this came about a couple of years ago. And what we were seeing when we were talking to customers, certainly around application development, was they had a number of staffing issues. People are coming up to that time where they were looking to retire, and retirees, they tend to leave a gap. And when you can eventually find someone to take on development application, then sometimes it can be extremely expensive. So we're helping companies with legacy in-house written non-stop applications to reach their full potential. Our TCM application experts can advise how these applications can be easily enhanced with the use of modern, even more open source technologies. And why is that important? Well, that's really crucial when you look at, you've got a development guy that's just about to retire. You bring in someone new, but they don't understand the system. What you're looking to do is use a modern approach to your NonStop system, where you could take someone directly out of university using the same tools and technologies and run those on a NonStop system. There is absolutely no difference from a front end perspective, and they love that. And obviously, the staffing shortages are then covered. We've also developed our own in-house written application utilizing a ton of stuff, but by utilizing the technologies, we can show that NonStop can be opened up. Now I'm going to pop up this slide here, and I'm not going to lie. I can look at this slide and think, wow, that is an awful lot of stuff. I would say 90% of these, I have no idea what they do, but to a DevOps guy, these are really, really crucial stuff. So, and that was, I've just gone past my slide. So that's not too bad. I finished, and I've still got 2 minutes for questions. So if anyone has a question, please.
Andy, we do have a question.
Excellent.
Dan Karaoka, he asked, do you have a presence in the US and US customers?
We work very closely with NED, the NonStop sales guys over in North America. We have done completed some quite large projects in North America. And we are friends with them. So yes, the answer to that is yes. And if there is an interest, we are more than happy to work with you. We would love the opportunity. And of course, we're going to be at TBC this year. And if you're north of the border, we're also going to be at Canada Tug this year as well.
Does anyone else have any questions for Andy? All right, Andy, well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Presentation. Now we're going to move over to Gravic. And also, I just want to remind everyone, if you stay on till the end of the call today, we will be doing a random drawing for everyone that's left, and we're going to do a giveaway. All right, for Gravic, we have Peyton Holstein. Take it away, Peyton. Thanks.
Certainly, Vince. Thank you very much for having us on the webinar. I see a lot of familiar faces, but also some new ones, which is very exciting to see in the NonStop community. I'm Peyton Holstein. I'm a Shadow-based product manager. Been with Gravic for a number of years. Very excited to be at this innovative company. And today we will discuss a quick preview of 2025 in the Shadow-based world. Standard disclaimer slide. About us. We are leaders in NonStop data availability. We have strong and intense commitment to HPE NonStop and integrating that data with other servers. Enterprise IT and continuous availability is near and dear to our hearts. We have a Gravic lab, research and development arm that has been awarded over 90 technology patents, if not almost 100 at this point. We also have hundreds of customers using Shadowbase worldwide. We provide data solutions for mission critical enterprises in the replication, streaming, and data validation space, and high and continuous availability for the evolving world. We'll discuss digital resilience in a bit. We are HPE's strategic go-forward partner. Shadowbase has been globally sold by HPE for the past going on 11 years now. And there's close collaboration between us and HPE to the extent where our different teams are extensions of one another for a seamless customer experience. Today, we'll be discussing ZDL, heterogeneous compare/compare plus, digital resilience in this new ransomware world, and some follow-on items. Quick overview, our core is providing digital resilience for these mission critical systems in the NonStop world. And if you look at the definition of digital resilience, we've been doing this for over 45 years. Our key solution areas, data replication, data integration or data streaming, data validation to ensure data matches, and digital resilience. Our key pillars today in the replication space, goals, eliminate downtime. This could be unplanned in a variety of architectures from active passive to a shadow-based specialized active, almost active, sizzling hot takeover, which enables automated failover detection and recovery, and fully active, some incredibly complex but powerful continuous availability architectures, with the goal being for systems and application services to remain infinitely continuing for decades and centuries to come. As far as eliminating planned downtime, we have honed a zero downtime migration procedure for doing these hardware upgrades, platform refreshes. There was one customer in particular, a financial services corporation in the US. They did something like a 10-step migration. It was a bit of a wild ride, but we were able to adapt and meet all of their needs. As far as eliminating data loss, we will discuss shadow-based ZDL for effectively enabling an RPO equal of 0. These different use cases are provided with the QR codes. You can search them on our site. The QR codes are there for your convenience. As far as integration or data streaming, this is about eliminating data and application silos. This could be like-to-like environments on different systems, or it could be dissimilar database and data formats. There's an unlimited amounts of data transformation, scrubbing, and sophisticated filtering within Shadowbase. There are ways to even embed different customized logic within Shadowbase for sophisticated user exits and data transformation, whatever is needed to meet the customer's requirements. Some examples of what we see in the field, fraud detection. So for instance, this use case at the bottom, this is a customer that started using Shadowbase. They switched over to the unidirectional active passive architecture. They climbed the availability ladder. They moved up to the sizzling hot takeover architecture and eventually enabled active continuous availability. They then added on Shadowbase data integration for real-time fraud detection for their financial switch. And this is very common as we see folks that use Shadowbase and then it's a very, very sticky and lovable product. You know, we give out these little I love Shadowbase and our customers start using Shadowbase and they want to use it for other purposes as well. As far as other use cases, data streaming and change data capture, data warehousing, and including some interesting new cloud environments, all in real time. Our third core pillar, data validation. This is ensuring source and target databases match. The goal here, ensure that your backup system is ready for an immediate takeover. So what does that mean? It means that the data needs to match. Otherwise, when you go to fail over to that backup system, you will have data corruption. Now, this is one thing to talk about this on a slide, but in the real world, unfortunately, we do see some situations where the source and especially the target become they diverge, the databases diverge. So there's a growing amounts of differences between them. Are you protected? You need to use something like shadow-based compare to know. It's a great tool for verifying migrations and platform refreshes. Going back to that example of financial services institution and their 10-step migration, shadow-based compare provided a very nice sanity check to ensure that they had done all the data synchronization properly through the different steps. It creates a timeline of when the database is matched. So as you do more frequent shadow-based comparisons, there's less and less time as in volume of data that needs to be sorted through to figure out root cause analysis. Okay, the data matched yesterday at 12 a.m., but it doesn't today. So let me look through all the logs and figure out exactly what was changed. But there's also a shadow-based detailed report which illustrates and shows you where exactly the discrepancies occurred. So the DBA can go in and take a look at root cause. It's a very sophisticated, independently running data replication validation solution. So it can work in just about any architecture. It runs online and on platform, and it supports NScribe, MP, and MX like-to-like environment. Stay awake later in the presentation though, because you will see an interesting heterogeneous development with this tool. As far as a repair function, there's a quick and easy button that the DBA can press to fix the discrepancies, although most of the time people like to go in and do root cause analysis as opposed to the repair button. Moving on to diving a little bit deeper into the data integration space. Anything on the left can replicate to anything on the right. You'll see, for instance, a very popular use case is HPE NonStop NScribe data being transformed and replicated over to a Linux Oracle database. You'll notice that we can replicate to any target that we can access through an ODBC client library. This opens up a whole set of doors of new targets. And I also see that we have some Gravians on the call, some of which are working on some of these different APIs and new target capabilities. You'll also see that shadow-based transformation box, and that is discussing shadow-based map, a very wonderful essentials utility for scripting in SQL, a SQL-like language, database transformations between source and target locations. There's also shadow-based user exits, which enable the custom coding to meet the customer's needs. So moving on to bidirectional sources and targets, anything on the left can replicate to anything on the right and vice versa. We have some customers synchronizing something like 16 different non-stops. So it doesn't have to be one-to-one. Shadowbase can synchronize the databases between a whole host of systems. And so doing this heterogeneous, especially bidirectional replication, it opens some doors. So for instance, we had an insurance customer with their HP NonStop billing insurance claims on NScribe, and they were able to use Shadowbase to replicate the data over to their Windows SQL server, where they built a GUI portal so that customers could log in and look and see their claim status updates. And then the bidirectional nature of this enabled claims to be submitted through the GUI, which then would create a record in the NScribe file for the billing. So bidirectional data flow enables new functionality, and it greatly enhances the value of your data across the organization. As far as APIs go, so this is talking about replicating data from a shadow-based source to any supported target process. So this could be a NonStop IPC, IPMs, CSV, JSON, flat files, any TCP IP process. And in addition, we are working with some partners as well as building our own adapters to replicate to Kafka, IBM MQ, as well as other additional adapters, which we will discuss later. Okay, moving on to this exciting new space of zero data loss. This is groundbreaking, patented, NonStop replication technology. So what does it do? It enables an RPO of 0. Now, why is that important? Okay, this is important because when data is being replicated from point A to point B, it doesn't matter how fast your network is, there's always, as part of an asynchronous architecture, which is just about every replication engine out there that I'm sure folks on the call are using, regardless of what you're using, you're in the asynchronous world. That delay introduces the potential for data loss from that latency from when the data is being delivered from the source to the target. An RPO of 0 means you won't lose any of your critical data. And this might not sound like it's that important, but when you step into environments with hundreds, if not thousands of TPS, it very quickly makes sense to have something to close the gap and enable an RPO of 0. As far as in addition, the goal is to eventually enable the fully active-active zero data loss. Currently, it's in active-passive architectures only. And then the goal with that is to enable RPO and an RTO of effectively 0. The way shadow-based ZDL works is we've optimized it over the years to minimize application latency in order to meet the dead waiting times that, in order to utilize dead wait times as transactions are being created and generated on source system applications, and to leverage that to efficiently meet time and SLA requirements for getting the data off to the backup system. The goal here is safe storing the data on the backup system to enable an RPO of 0. There's some technical advantages to what is also out on the market now, which the only other one is RDF-CLT. There's no interconnect or distance limitations, so it can effectively span very large areas, including geographically separated locations for different power grids, geographic fault tolerance, etc. It's able to utilize standard comms and storage technology, and it builds on top of the existing shadow-based asynchronous replication engine. So if you want this, you need to initially set up HPE shadow-based asynchronous replication. So be sure to keep that in mind and start your POC today. Our goal is to help every NonStop customer doing business continuity benefit from this. And this last point is really important to us. If you have an unaudited file or application, you need TMF. This is very near and dear to our hearts at Gravic. There's some really important reasons that you need to understand regarding performance, regarding throughput, regarding response time to the user requests. Enabling TMF auditing can be very simple, and it can be a game changer to make the file system and just all sorts of things in your NonStop more efficient. So ZDL is available now under controlled availability. Be sure to keep that in mind and take advantage of it. As far as our roadmap, some future items. This is very hot off the press, a shadow-based do lockstep capability. So this can pause the application activity very briefly until replication data is safe stored on the target. This is very similar to RDF do lockstep, although it is not as good or as recommended as shadow-based zero data loss. If you're interested, let us know. Our digital resilience solution. So this new evolving digital resilience world is very interesting. It is all about thieves and hackers making money, encrypting your data, selling it back to you. So the question is, in a mission critical environment, how do we save our data somewhere so that it can be recovered during a ransomware attack in a reasonable amount of time? Maybe not instantaneous, but within a few hours / within a day to be able to continue business operations. There's quite a bit that goes into this. Be sure to start looking at this if you haven't. We've got a great web page we spend a decent amount of time putting together, and we'd be happy to talk with you to give you an overview of the different things to think about here. In addition, we are working on some ETL toolkit enhancements. We have an MQ, Kafka, and JSON and flat file adapters that are available now. Thank you, Hunter, who is on the call. And in addition, we are looking at, in the future, enabling Splunk, cloud APIs, and more. This other piece I'm very excited to discuss, HPE Shadow-Based Compare. We've been asked quite a bit about this. So I'm replicating data from my NonStop off to somewhere else like Oracle, SQL Server, DB2, Sybase, MySQL, PostgreSQL, cloud environments, and more. How do I ensure that the data matches? HPE Shadow-Based Compare Plus is currently undergoing beta testing. It's being used at one customer site. We would be willing to entertain the idea. If you'd like to give it a trial run, let us know. It runs natively on NonStop and other server environments, supports the repair capability, and scribe sources in plan. The first iterations, we believe, will be SQL, but the NonStop SQL environments, but that's likely to change. Okay, this new digital resilience world. Here's the 10,000-foot view of things to think about as far as defending your site against cyber attacks. The idea is to support best practices. And so this new shadow-based digital resilience software for data recovery requires TMF auditing. It helps meet the 3211 rule. The 3211 rule states you need at least, for each of these numbers, 3 copies of your data on 2 different storage mediums, one being immutable and one being air-gapped. New architectures are evolving to meet these requirements, such as a local or remote data vault, a third site for rapid recovery or bare metal recovery, and there's new functionality for this data recovery. The shadow-based Q files can be captured in real time. This enables manageability. So many folks out there are under the mindset that they can use TMF dumps and the TMF functionality to be able to recover data. While it can be done, there are things you need to think about with that, such as what are all the different steps involved? How long will it take? Will I still be able to be in business after the recovery is done? These are the different things that you need to consider when you're looking at digital resilience. There's ways within Shadow-based Q files and the undo redo functionality to roll the data forward and backwards. So if we have the data on a recovery system and we recover to 12:05 p.m., but we actually need to go back to 12:03 due to corrupted data at 12:04, we can do this with Shadow-based. And believe it or not, we can do it while the application remains online and running. In addition, we're building in key features such as fingerprinting to help detect tampering, such as man-in-the-middle attacks. Okay, quick wrap up. There's been quite a few successes, some of which, believe it or not, we've worked with TCM side by side for some of these sites. So this major international bank, there's a really great use case and case study on our website where you can contact us if you'd like to see that. A large retailer in the US recently did a 45-day migration, replaced their existing replication engine, which had an RPO of 12 to 24 hours, depending on the lag, and we were able to get that down to an RPO of seconds. There were several different European projects that were done, and we see tremendous reductions in RTO, failover recovery time as well. In addition, there's quite a bit of activity going on in Asia. Why customers choose Shadow-based? Quick wrap up. It provides great value. We have a very strong and tremendous roadmap. Customers love to see the innovation and a company that just keeps going. We have outstanding support. We've been cited as being very responsive and easy to work with. So the GNSC provides the front line, with Gravic providing the backup, and especially for different migrations and other services that may be needed. We're committed to NonStop. We are HPE's strategic, go forward, NonStop data replication solution. With that, I thank you very much. I apologize. Is there a question here? Okay. I don't see a question. That's great. It looks like we're just on time as well. So Vince, I'll give it back to you. Thank you very much. I think you're muted, Vince.
Let's see if he comes back.
Vince, you're muted.
Sorry, I was on mute. All right. Well, thank you guys, everyone. Great presentations, everyone. Thanks for everyone for joining us and spending this time with us. We will be doing the drawing for the giveaway after the webinar. We will reach out to everyone and let everyone know who the winner is. But thank you guys again for all your time. Thanks for the great presentations, and we hope to do this again in the future.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everybody. See you in the
Thank you,
tux.
everybody.
Hey,
Very good.
take care, everyone. And in addition, make sure you're subscribed to Connect because there's all sorts of updates that they send out, especially
Yes.
if you're new to the community.
Yep.
Looking
And then-
forward to NuWave and Gravic at N2 2 in next month.
Oh yeah, we'll be there. We look forward to being there as well. And also we will be putting the recordings on our website. So that'll be great. And so if you guys missed any parts, you can go back and you can watch through the actual the recordings. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Bye.